Lee, firstly, we'll start with the news around Brian McDermott being appointed as our Director of Football.
Yeah.
How pleased are you that he's in position, and how will the both of you work together?
Yeah, I'm really pleased. I think it's a fantastic appointment for the football club, not just Brian, but all across the staff. I think it's a really good staff. I think it's building a really strong base, if you like, of knowledge and, football nous and different talents all across the board, really. So that's exciting to be involved in, and that's why I was talked before about the potential of the football club. And it's good to see the football club investing in those areas that could bring that potential and could really improve us. And Brian, without question of a doubt, with his experience, across the board, working all the way down from a academy level to manager at Reading in the Premier League to scouting for Arsenal, he's at that stage in his life, whether it be that sort of mentorship as well, and his career, that he just slots perfectly, I believe, into the football club. So it was a really good process. There were some really good candidates. I was lucky enough to be asked to be involved in that process as well, and I really enjoyed it. So although I wasn't the final decision maker, of course, the board were, it was nice that they asked for the input, because they know how closely myself and Brian will work together.
Absolutely, and he's been around the training ground today watching you and your coaching staff and the players prepare for St Mirren on Saturday. How big of a game is this one?
It's a huge game. I'm desperate to fill Easter Road as much as we can. I genuinely feel this is one of, if not the biggest game of the season. I know it feels like that because it's the next one, but I'm really looking for, again, that club performance. The boys are prepared. St Mirren are a very good side that have done very well. They're very organised, very disciplined, very strong, and we're going to need patience. We're going to need that support that we've had all season, really, but we need the volume as well. And we're trying to build our consistency of performances so that fans can really look at us and be proud of us. Obviously, we've made top 6, which is great, but it's not good enough in terms of what we want, and we want more. The next part of that is obviously try and beat a very solid, strong St Mirren side, and we're going to need our fans to do that. So I think we're at about 15,500 at the moment in the game, and I'll set a little challenge to see whether we can have 2,000 or 3,000 walk-ins, because we need you.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of the way to approach this one, you said St Mirren are kind of very strong on the counter-attack too. How do you want your players to approach this game?
Well, I want us to play our game. I want us to play on the front foot. We're at home, we take the game to the opposition, that doesn't change. But we've got to make good decisions. I've said before, good players make good decisions. The variables in Scotland are just unbelievable. The weather, the pitch conditions, the day, the individual mindset of the team, of the players. And we've got a consistency in terms of that team selection at the moment, which is good. We've got a couple of players back from injury that can come into the squad, like potentially Miko, but certainly Rocky Bashiri back into the squad, which is great. And that's important, because you have the feeling of building momentum and getting stronger. However, it's up to the boys, obviously, to make it count and to make sure that, as they cross the line, like, they're concentrated in every action that they produce and execute to the best of their ability.
Yeah, I wanted to touch upon that squad depth. Firstly, how good is it to have Miko and Rocky training or in and around the squad? And secondly, it's even better that Jimmy Jego's appeal obviously was overturned.
Yeah, absolutely. There's probably 3 or 4 players that potentially we didn't think could be involved that can now be involved in certainly the next game, but potentially the next 5 games. I think that's really important, because you never know what's going to go on in football, and it's also the boys pushing the starters, which is really important. You've got to feel that competition. We've got to feel that squad unity, if you like. And the great thing about the Hearts game, and that stands out for me, is when I turned round after we scored the goal, every single substitute was up celebrating. Final whistle, everybody had their tracksuit tops off and they were in their shirts celebrating with the fans. And that is what we need to create more and more and more, so we can build that rapport, players, fans, staff, players, fans, board levels. It makes us really strong and powerful.
100%. Lee, good luck this weekend.
Thank you. Cheers.